months apart from time, there was a dad and there was a son, just hanging out, enjoying quality existence. The dad said to the son, "Son, I have an idea. Why don't we work together equally and let's invent something that has not yet come to be?" "Let's do it, Dad. What do you need from me?" Dad says, "Not much, son, just the usual unity. What I had in mind was, why don't we create a being that will reflect the beauty and strength of we?" So they developed the structure and wrapped up the blueprints. "Now let's make it happen," they said. "We'll keep it pretty basic. Let's use some of this dirt we piled up here we've been saving." So they formed the first man, then woman, and said, "Man, we did good." So they watched and enjoyed seeing what they had formed and seeing what this man and woman would form, the things they would build and do just like they made them to. And then it happened. They fell. They fell bad. When they used to seek their dad first, this was the first time they had not. So they exited perfection. But the amazing God had a plan. So the dad said, "Son, I want to send you." And the son said, "But Dad, what we've shared as long as we've been, it's so perfectly intricate. I love being with you. To be separated, how could I live?" Dad said, "I know, son, I don't want this either. I don't want us to grieve separated, but this is for the kids." So we said, "Okay, Dad, I'll do it for you and the love we share for creation." He formed us and said, "Let's reform what's been deformed." So he became defamed and deformed. His body was bare. As he outstretched his arms, he gave us a bear hug. With sweat and blood, he said, "It is done." He laid down and his body was the bridge that carried us across. He carried us across. Who knew this master artist would create a masterpiece with his blood? He's the master that was pieced and painted his love all over us. He was a spitting image of the Father who became a split image from the Father. With a crown of thorns, he became handicapped, resurrected, and made death look like a nap. Birthed to earth to save us from our birth defects, our birth, death, and now we are born again. Our hands were tied, so his hands were nailed. Hell had us in high resolution, but he cropped us out of the picture. Sin has weighed us down, left us far too flabby. So he died so you could be saved, rose from the grave and told death, "Who's your daddy?" Better yet, I am your father. And then heaven had prayed when darkness was sprayed with raid, but his blood was not spilled, because we spilled by accident. No, his blood was poured because we could not afford. He put you in his savings account. Don't believe when they say you don't amount to anything. To the Father you amounted to everything, from the mounted cross to the Mount of Olives, so I'll live through him. He ripped the script but kept the scripture, and now our freedom is no longer encrypted. Death was the virus, but he hacked the system and uploaded fresh data, so we now have access to heavenly data. He finished man, and man would have been finished, but he shared life, and now we're refinished. People make fun of the team that's on a losing streak. That was us. We were that team. I know what it's like to look in the mirror, ashamed of the man that I am. I was too close to worldly things, and that makes your vision blurry. But being too close to Christ can only make you see clearly. When reading books, I struggle getting past the foreword, but he's the after and before word, who proved his love in 4 words. I died for you. Saved from sins, now my shins meet earth and I meet him. He parted seas of sin, now I sing, "How great thou art." We had our share of insults, but if there were a hashtag for his blood, your face would show in the search results. He has won it all for me, so my cry is, "You have won it all. Form me to your image." We questioned redemption. He showed off his superpowers and was like, "Kim, possible. James, possible. Matt, possible. But me not love you, impossible." He made ends meet. Our end met with his end, but his end was equal to everlasting life, being born again. To cover sin, we used to shed blood over and over again, so only the perfect man could at one time win the all-time Hall of Fame over sin. His face hit the dirt and probably reminded him of when he made you. Now the gospel has gone viral with 1 billion views. You are his worldview, so your YouTube channel only needs one view from he who viewed you from every avenue. He's the groom that died for a bride that was iffy with her commitment. So if she chose to leave him, it sure wouldn't be because his love wasn't legit. Perhaps he could have set up a comfortable and instant death and sent a text saying, "I died for you." Instead, he lived a life that marked history and said, "I lived and died for you." Dad created you and found joy, so he sent his one boy. This is real life, no Toy Story. He's given us a new name, but his is unchanged. I like to call him Rose from the grave.